2024 is in the books, and we wanted to highlight some of the big stories we covered over the past year. From the MBTA Communities Act discussion to ongoing trouble with school bus shortages and highlights on community members, public groups, and the city's history, it's all on our 2024 Year in Review episode. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick, and this is The Frame, Framingham News in Focus. Hello and Happy New Year. Welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. Over the course of 2024, we were able to present hundreds of news segments and plenty of details on ongoing stories and events on our show, as well as on our website. This week, we wanted to recap a few of the major ones, including some stories that will continue to see coverage in 2025. One of those is, of course, the conversation regarding Framingham's compliance with the MBTA Communities Act, a state zoning law that mandates that cities and towns with MBTA service, such as Framingham with the commuter rail, have to provide at least one multifamily housing district by right. Framingham was in compliance with the law through the end of 2024, but local leaders such as Mayor Charlie Sisitsky have advocated for a plan that offers compliance into the new year and beyond, so that the city does not run the risk of missing out on state funding sources. Planning Board Chair Christina Johnson explained further back in October.
The mayor's positioning here is that we're not putting the city in jeopardy of losing critical money to do good projects. We're not litigating this. The direction we have received from the administration is that we're not litigating.
Multiple proposals featuring zoning for thousands of units across Framingham have been presented and considered over the past few months, but the City Council has yet to provide any final approval. Politicians and residents alike have disagreed on what parcels in areas like the downtown, Saxonville, 990, and Shoppers World are appropriate for the MBTA Communities Act. Many residents were especially vocal about their concerns surrounding zoning proposals in Knobscot, believing that any zoning brought through this process could ruin the neighborhood's character and viability as a community. Others believe that Framingham should do its part in alleviating the wider issue of housing across Massachusetts.
I think we have to recognize that the world's changing. There are a whole lot more people in the world, and whether in Framingham, the state, or the world, the people are already here, and we need to deal with that. And frankly, it's part of our thriving community. We need to rethink the way we think about zoning and about housing.
And all I keep hearing is that Framingham has to do its share. We've been doing our share every year. So I still sit there and say, go back and respectfully say no until we get a credit.
In December, the City Council voted to table the MBTA Act banner to February. Councilors in favor of doing so contend that they'd want to ensure that they have explored every option and done as much research as possible before committing to new permanent zoning measures. The legislative body has the final authority to accept, reject, or amend any parcels of land up for consideration. School bus troubles continued to impact students, parents, and caretakers in Framingham this past year as education officials took steps to bring bus operations in-house. The city's contract with the company NRT Bus Incorporated calls for 77 drivers to bring students to and from classes, but Framingham community members have consistently been left with far less. Just 53 drivers were able to drive in Framingham to begin the current school year. In turn, the school committee unanimously approved a plan back in March that would make school bus drivers city employees as opposed to third-party employees. School officials have targeted the start of summer programming, July 1st of this new year, to get that program up and running prior to the start of the 2025-26 school year.
Basically, you're creating a new business. Is there any guarantee that it's going to be better? Nope. But we can make sure that we're doing it correctly and that the day we go live in-house, we're 100% where we're supposed to be.
School officials have said they want the in-house transportation positions to offer competitive wages to ensure that they have the proper amount of trained drivers on board. Late in the year, the school committee unanimously approved a 5-year lease-to-buy contract in order to acquire buses for the in-house model. The City Council was more split, however. Some members of the council saw that as an opportunity to invest in a solution to transportation issues, while others believed that the plan needed to be fleshed out more before the city could move ahead with it.
Even if it doesn't work out perfectly, we're no worse off than we are now. It can't get much worse, really.
If you sat here tonight and told me we're absolutely going to make it absolutely works because of A, B, and C, and we'll get all our kids to school in time, it's probably worth it. I probably would support it. But I am not convinced at all that this is seen nearly the daylight it should.
The City Council eventually voted last month to take no action on the contract. Still, officials from across the community have continued to identify school transportation as a critical issue. Framingham Union Hospital nurses voted to form a union at the start of 2024. 188 nurses at the local healthcare center approved a motion to join the Massachusetts Nurses Association, the largest union for registered nurses in the state, compared to 37 who voted against the action. Proponents of unionization have pointed to safety for both workers and patients, staffing retention, pay scale, and subpar working conditions as rationale behind their support for joining the MNA. Kelly Cutler, a nurse at Framingham Union for more than 7 years, spoke with us back in January.
I really think a union would help with these things and help retain good, experienced nurses and also have the ability to onboard more nurses that will want to stay at the hospital and make it a safer and better place.
Fast forward to the fall, when complaints were submitted to the state and federal levels by nurses at Framingham Union. They said that for months, an unsafe environment for work was created through staffing shortages, hospital policies, and delays from administrative officials. Katie Murphy, the president of the Massachusetts Nurses Association, spoke in front of Framingham Union back in September.
Too many of their patients are left unattended and unmonitored. They are not receiving their medications on time or at all. They are pushing call buttons, writhing in pain, waiting for a nurse who wants to respond and be at their side, but can't because they are taking care of too many other patients, or because no nurse has been assigned to watch over them.
Following the submission of those complaints, we reached out to Metro West Medical Center for a comment. They're owned and operated by the Texas-based company Tenet Healthcare Corp. Tenet itself is a company that has garnered criticism from residents and elected officials in Framingham in 2024. In a statement provided to the Frame, Metro West Medical Center wrote, quote, "Metro West Medical Center remains focused on continuing to provide high-quality care. We are grateful for the dedicated physicians, nurses, and staff who prioritize patient care every day. We do not condone the MNA's actions to try to discredit our high-quality organization." Changes to Framingham's Home Rule Charter, the document that outlines the municipal government's functions and duties, were proposed in 2024. Months of deliberation resulted in the city's Charter Review Committee finalizing their propositions back in June, as the City Council later voted to approve them in August. Proposed changes include efforts to increase transparency from elected officials, initiatives that get more citizens involved in the civic process, limits on the number of government positions that elected leaders in Framingham can hold, and the creation of a new role in the city, Chief Climate and Sustainability Officer. That individual would be responsible for promoting policies and plans across the city's government that feature eco-friendly values. The list of potential charter changes will be on the ballot for final approval this upcoming November, during the municipal election. More details on all of the stories we cover throughout the entire year can be found on our website, www.theframe.news. All year, we'll be there to provide coverage on Framingham News in Focus. From ongoing municipal matters to highlights on local people and events and more, it's all there on our New Look website. Subscribe to our email newsletter to stay up to date with us. Follow us on social media as well. @FrameNews_ is our home on both Instagram and X. Subscribe to Access Framingham's YouTube channel and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever we upload a new episode of The Frame. Find us on Facebook too, just by searching for The Frame. Of course, our news coverage would be incomplete without our weekly frame-by-frame feature pieces. Throughout 2024, we spoke with plenty of interesting people and explored stories that are unique to your community. To close out this year in review episode, we wanted to show you just some of the work we've put into our frame-by-frame segments in 2024.
I think people inherently want to relate to one another. And so that's been like a founding factor in this whole thing.
If we didn't have people working in carpentry or electrical or plumbing, we wouldn't have a lot of our infrastructure, and you kind of need that.
I feel like art just touches people's hearts immediately. It's an immediate feeling.
The story behind the We're Here mural is like, it's from all of us. It's like from all the youth. It's like from all that we were feeling and all that we're still feeling in the community, in the world.
There are more hungry people in the Metro West 495 corridor today than there have been ever before. But it's not because we're not feeding them. You've got a situation where people's incomes are not keeping pace with inflation.
She was a fun person. She was very bright. She was very willing to do new things, and you know, it wasn't just a job to her.
Keep running no matter what. Do your best, and I love you no matter what.
One last question. What's the name of the dog? I have to ask. Archie. Aw, look at Archie. As always, all of our frame-by-frame segments can be found on our website, theframe.news, as well as Access Framingham's channel on YouTube. That's all for this episode reviewing the year that was in Framingham. All of us here at The Frame would like to thank those who tuned in during 2024, as well as those who will be following along with us in 2025. My name is Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.